Welcome to the Running Library. Quick, practical ideas to think clearer and live better. Today we're breaking down Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. Let's keep this practical. And let's start with the strongest idea first. Your biggest enemy in finance isn't the market. It's the stories you tell yourself after randomness hands you a win. Nassim Nicholas Taleb's Fooled by Randomness is a book about luck, skill, and the dangerous human need to explain outcomes. It's also a book about how entire careers get built on noise. Let's break it down. Big idea number 1. Most success stories in markets are contaminated by luck. We confuse a good outcome with a good process. We see profits and assume skill, but markets are full of people who look brilliant simply because randomness smiled on them for a while. Why it matters. If you reward outcomes instead of decision quality, you will copy the wrong people, and you will keep taking hidden risks until the bill arrives. Action step. Start separating process from result. After every trade, investment, or big financial decision, write 2 notes. 1. Was the decision reasonable given what I knew at the time? 2. What role could luck have played in the outcome? But here's where it gets interesting. Big idea number 2. We live in a world of fat tails, and most people price risk like it's normal. In everyday life, averages work. In markets, rare events dominate. Taleb's point is that extreme moves happen more often than our neat bell curve intuition suggests. And those extremes drive most of the long-term damage. Why it matters. If you underestimate rare events, you will over-leverage. You will sell insurance you can't afford to pay. You will build a portfolio that looks safe until it suddenly isn't. Action step. Ask a simple question about any strategy you follow. What happens if an extreme event hits? Then reduce exposure to anything that can blow you up, not hurt a bit, blow you up. Now here's the mistake most people make. Big idea number 3. We are wired to create narratives, and narratives erase randomness. When something happens, we want a reason. We want a clean explanation. We want a villain, a hero, a cause, a lesson. Taleb argues that this storytelling instinct makes us overconfident, because a story feels like understanding, even when it's just hindsight. Why it matters. If you believe your own narrative, you stop updating, you stop questioning, and you start taking bigger bets because you feel right. Action step. Do a narrative audit. When you hear a market explanation on the news, online, or from yourself, add 1 sentence. That might be true, but it might also be noise. Then look for alternative explanations, especially boring ones, especially random ones. This is the part most people skip. Big idea number 4. Survivorship bias makes the world look more predictable than it is. We study the winners. We interview the successful fund manager. We read the biography of the billionaire. But we don't see the symmetry of people who used the same strategy and disappeared. Taleb's message is brutal. We systematically learn from the wrong sample. Why it matters. You can't judge a strategy by the visible survivors, because the dead strategies don't give interviews, and the failures don't write bestsellers. Action step. When evaluating any financial approach, ask, how many tried this and failed? If you can't estimate that, treat the evidence as weak and lower your confidence accordingly. But here's where it gets even sharper. Big idea number 5. The most dangerous risks are the ones that don't show up in daily results. Taleb talks about hidden tail risk, strategies that make small, steady gains, month after month. They look like genius until one day they implode. Think of it like picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. It works right up until it doesn't. Why it matters. Humans love smooth performance. Employers love smooth performance. Investors love smooth performance. So the system rewards people who sell disaster insurance cheaply and punishes the cautious people who look unproductive during calm times. Action step. Stop worshipping smoothness. If a strategy has unusually consistent returns, get suspicious. Ask what it's short. Ask what it's implicitly insuring. And ask what happens in a panic. And in a moment, I'll share the most powerful principle in the entire book. The one that can change how you build your financial life from the ground up. Big idea number 6. The goal isn't to predict. The goal is to survive and endure. Taleb's deepest point is about robustness. You don't need to be right all the time. You need to avoid ruin. Because if you avoid ruin, time becomes your ally. And if you get wiped out, you're out of the game, no matter how smart you are. Why it matters. Most people optimize for returns. But the real optimization is staying in the game through uncertainty, especially when the world behaves in ways you didn't model. Action step. Create anti-ruin rules. Simple, non-negotiable constraints. Like no leverage you can't withstand. No single bet that can permanently damage you. No strategy that depends on calm markets to function. This is the most powerful principle. Don't aim to be the smartest. Aim to be the last one standing. But let's make this practical, because this book can feel philosophical. So here's a simple action plan you can use starting today. Practical action plan. Step 1. Build a decision journal. Every time you make a financial decision, investing, trading, big purchase, career move, write what I believe, what I could be wrong about, what would change my mind. Then revisit it later, not to judge yourself, to measure your process. Over time, you'll see patterns in your thinking, and you'll start catching overconfidence early. Step 2. Stress test your life, not just your portfolio. Taleb's lesson applies beyond stocks. Ask, if my income drops for 6 months, what breaks? If markets fall hard, what breaks? If credit tightens, what breaks? Then redesign to reduce fragility. More cash buffer, less forced selling. Fewer obligations that assume everything goes smoothly. Step 3. Stop taking risks you don't get paid for. A lot of people take hidden tail risk for tiny extra return. They chase yield. They overconcentrate. They borrow to optimize. Taleb's worldview says, don't. If the upside is small and the downside is catastrophic, it's a bad trade, even if it works 99 times in a row. Step 4. treat forecasts as entertainment and focus on exposure. Instead of asking, "What will the market do?" ask, "What happens to me if the market does X?" Then position accordingly. You can be wrong about the future and still be fine if your exposure is built for uncertainty. Step 5. Use barbell thinking cautiously. Taleb often favors a split, a large portion in very safe assets, and a smaller portion in high upside, limited downside bets. The spirit is simple. Be conservative where you can't afford loss. Take risk where the downside is capped. If you do this, keep it simple. And avoid pretending it's a magic formula. It's a mindset about balancing safety and optionality. Now here's a mini reset. This entire book is basically a warning label for your brain. Your brain wants certainty. The world gives randomness, and finance punishes people who can't tell the difference. 3-step compressed recap 1. Don't confuse outcomes with skill. Judge decisions by process, not results. 2. Respect rare events. Most real risk lies in the tails. 3. Avoid ruin. Design your finances to survive uncertainty, not to look smart in calm times. If you want the full book, it's linked below. And if you enjoy clear, practical breakdowns of important books, subscribe to the Running Library for more. If you want the full book, it's linked below. Subscribe for more book insights you can actually use.